Now we can just simply pop off that. So that's gone, that assembly is gone. Now if it's full of grease and sand and all that stuff, which this one isn't, it's very nice and clean, straight into the parts washer, give it a nice clean. If there's a lot of sand and gravel and rubbish all over it, change that terps out after you've cleaned it, otherwise you're just going to be putting gravel and stuff into the next reel you do, or into the other parts. Okay, so that's that. Put that aside. Now, you can see here, just this little part there, right? So we're just going to take that out and pop it there, and then pull off, if it comes out, just the gear. And there's your gear there. So what you want to do is you want to just check all the teeth on that gear, make sure there's no chips, no breaks, no nothing, and also on the inner gear, make sure there's no chips or breaks, and they're all good. Now when it comes to greasing it up, what have you, you just want to put a nice layer of grease around this top gear and a nice layer of grease around this bottom gear, just a nice liberal amount, don't overdo it. The more grease you put in there, the more friction you're going to create, so you want to keep that to a minimum, how much grease you're actually putting in there. Okay, now this part here we can actually pop it back in, whoops, to the other side so it's ready. It's time to put it back in, so I've just popped it back in there, nice and clean. But usually, you know, like I said, if it's full of dirt and all that stuff or what have you, give it a clean out, give it a little bit of a rub of grease. Okay, not too much, just keep the grease to a minimum. Okay, what we're going to do is now pull out the drive, like that. See, we've got a bearing there. What you want to do is just hold that bearing, just slowly turn it in your fingers, and you want to feel for any crunching, any knocking, anything that makes it not smooth. If it's not smooth, you can pretty much go onto the web, look up the schematics of your reel and order that one in. So you can order that bearing in and change it over. Okay, I'm just going to take the arm out now. Okay, you see I've just got a very fine amount of grease on that, but we'll give that a clean and put some more on there anyway. I've got it out, so I might as well give it a clean. Give it a nice clean, get rid of any excess grease and stuff off that. Okay, that's nice and clean now. See that? What you want to do is just check, make sure you've got no corrosion on there. If you do have corrosion and stuff like that, you can either order a new one in, or so a little bit of Scotch Brite there, you know, go through it, give it a clean, make sure it's nice and smooth and everything's good. Wherever you've got little bits of corrosion inside there, you get it a lot too. That's actually where the drive pushes forward and back. Okay, so you want to clean all that out. Tiny little bit of grease in there, a little bit of grease over that, so we'll do that now. So just a tiny little bit of grease. Just going to grease that up. Grease up the back section. And that's it. You can see I haven't gone over the top and really pumped that thing with grease. We just want it to run smoothly. We don't want it to hinder it at all. Okay, and again in here we've got another one of those little bushes there, that little white bush in there. You just want to make sure that's nice and clean as well. You can pop it out if you wish. I'll take off this drive here, if she comes out. I know you come out because you came out before. There she is. Okay, so we just got that little drive. Give that a clean. Might as well use the parts washer. Little brush, a little bit of terps, a bit of dry off with a rag. Like I said, if you've got sand and stuff in that terps, get rid of it. There you go, nice and clean there, you can see. Okay, and again you want to test all the teeth. Just make sure you've got no breaks, no broken teeth. All these parts, by going on the net, and looking up those schematics. You can reorder them if you've got teeth missing, or if they've been overly chewed or badly corroded, whatever it is. And there we have, at the end of it, take out that bush as well, just a nice empty assembly. Okay, so we can give that actually a bit of a parts wash, and we'll re-grease it up. A little air blower. It's for electronics, but it does get rid of the majority. Wear safety glasses if you're going to do it. You don't want this stuff in your eyes. Okay, so you can see I've blown that out. It's nice and clean. It's got no rubbish in there anymore. So we're just going to add a little bit of grease there. Just tiny little bit of grease just on that, and on this gear there's a tiny little bit of grease on that too. Get it into all the teeth. Like I said, you don't want to overdo it. Okay, so there you go. I've just got grease. You can just see it's just covering the teeth. Just there. A little bit there, and a little tiny dollop is in there. So when we push it through now, put it into place, you see it's just going to spin nicely on that grease, and we can take off any excess and wipe it away. That's spinning beautifully, nice and smooth. Just turn everything by hand at first. If you feel any friction there, or it's grinding or it's crunching, take it off again, have another wash, have another look, see what's going on, and fix it up. Anyway, I forgot to put the grommet back in, so let's put that back in. Okay, so we've got that little bush. Okay, it's got little arrows. It's also got little guiding pins there, so I can actually pop that in so the guiding pins go where they're supposed to go. Okay, so that's now in place like that. It's nice and clean. Okay, just a little bit of grease on that. Don't overdo it. What I normally do is just run my finger over it with a little bit of grease on it, and that leaves just a little bit of grease on the inside edge there. So when I put whatever I'm going to put in there, and I give it a turn, it's now greased up the whole area. Okay, so I'll pop this back in. Now we've got that drive arm. I'm going to turn this backwards till that little nipple there is facing back. Slide that arm in, locate it, so now on the back of that, you see that groove, it's going to locate onto that nipple. So as she goes round, you see, as she goes round, oops, if you can show you, it is now turning with it. Okay. Sorry. The drive, like I said before, actually we'll give that a bit of a clean in the parts washer. Okay, give that a dry off. So grab that with some pliers. If you do have one of these air blowers, you don't want to blow it straight onto your hands, so just grab it with a pair of pliers like that. We're going to blow it out. Okay, so that's it, nice and clean. Again, run your fingers over those gears, over that drive, no chips, it's all good. Just going to place a bit of grease on that. And grease the whole thing up. Again, we're not going to overdo that grease. Okay, make sure everything's sitting in place. Slide that drive over the top. Push that back into place. Okay, so that will all grab on there. Shut that up. So that's good. And throw the screws back in.